something, but I also knew that attendance would hopefully be light, so I thought, okay, if I totally fool myself, few people will see it, and I can always ask Kevin to turn on the recording. So there you go.
How did you choose to go into the field?
I never worked in a court. Well, I did make court appearances, but yeah, I'm a lawyer, so I'm a former lawyer. That's question for.
You're never a former lawyer. So who was the lawyer? You're an active member of the Self-Esteem?
Yeah, I am.
Probably not a former
That's true, I got some too.
lawyer. Do you think something?
Okay, you know, we hear about gratitude a lot, and the thing about it is I sort of feel like, you know, we're kind of overwhelmed at this time of the year talking about gratitude. But I thought, and this, believe me, I'm not an expert in this area. So, you know, the medical stuff and that kind of thing, please don't really ask me questions because I really don't know. I only know what I found in articles, to be perfectly honest. But I'm not an expert. I was just interested in it. And so, you know, that's what we're going to talk about today is gratitude. Contrary to what it says in the bulletin, it's not really Thanksgiving that we're talking about gratitude. So the word gratitude is derived from the Latin word gratis or gratius, gratia or gratis, which means grace, graciousness, or greatness, depending upon the context. If you're familiar with the Ave Maria by Schubert, they say the word gratis. So gratis, and very full of grace is what they're talking about. But other definitions, gratitude is a thankful appreciation for what an individual receives, whether tangible or intangible. And according to PositivePsychology.com, psychologists have defined gratitude as a positive emotional response that we perceive on giving or receiving a benefit from anyone. Gratitude is associated with a personal benefit that was not intentionally sought after, deserved, or earned, but rather because of the good intentions of another person. So it's generally coming from other people, or, you know, that it's our response. As a result, being grateful also helps people connect to something larger in themselves as individuals, or whether it's to other people, nature, or even to a higher power, God. In positive psychology research, gratitude is strongly and consistent associated with greater happiness, surprisingly so. And some of the benefits that they say it does, it improves sleep quality, who knew? Improves emotional regulation, increased feelings of happiness and positive mood, fosters hope for the future, reduces stress, burnout, and symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and it increases resilience. You know, it's kind of amazing for something as simple as being grateful can improve your sleep quality. For example, they said, I think it has to do to some degree, if you're thinking about positive things when you're going to bed, you're not worried about something, you're not focused on that it allows you to sleep longer, to get better, deeper sleep. Pretty amazing. There's 7 scientifically proven benefits of gratitude. This is according to Psychology Today, so I didn't make this up. I am a lawyer, but I'm not going to go that far. Okay, yeah, and you know, the thing is, this is kind of a timely topic because if you think about it in terms of where we are as a society, there is so much division, there's so much, I don't know if it's hatred, but certainly animosity between people and that sort of thing. And this is a way for us to deal with it and to help others deal with it. You know, one other thing that I read was they said that it even helps children. They found that gratitude training and, you know, focusing on gratitude helps children become more, I'm not blank on the word, to be more conscious of the feelings of others. And basically, yeah, empathetic. So, you know, if you've got grandkids, that's something that you can even work with your grandkids on, talking about what they can be grateful for, because it helps. Because that seems to be, like, in my opinion, which is nothing, it seems like there's a real issue these days with empathy. A lot of people are just have absolutely no sense of it. I don't know how they got that. But anyways, so the 7 scientifically proven benefits of gratitude. Gratitude opens the door to more relationships. According to a 2014 study published in the publication Emotion, not only does saying thank you constitute good manners, but showing appreciation can help you win new friends. The study found that thanking a new acquaintance makes them more likely to seek an ongoing relationship. So acknowledging other people's contributions can lead to new opportunities. And that could be business, professional, personal, whatever. Gratitude improves physical health. I knew it would help, but according to a 2012 study published in Personality and Individual Differences, grateful people experience fewer aches and pains and report feeling healthier than other people. Grateful people are also more likely to take care of their health. They exercise more often and are more likely to attend to regular checkups, which is likely to contribute to more longevity. Gratitude practices can also help with substance abuse. And if you think about it, I think and I'm not that familiar with it, but I think with like AA, that's one of the things they thank a higher power, but it can be broader than just that. It helps with even things like that. When we express gratitude and receive the same, our brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the two crucial neurotransmitters responsible for our emotions, and they make us feel good. They enhance our mood immediately, making us feel happy from the inside. It's also interesting that people who express and feel gratitude seem to have a higher volume of gray matter in the right inferior temporal cortex. That's according to a test I read about. There seems to be a clear physiological effect that gratitude can have on your life, beneficial. Gratitude also improves psychological health. Gratitude reduces a multitude of toxic emotions from envy and resentment to frustration and regret. Robert Evans, a leading gratitude researcher, and I don't know who he is, but they say he's a leading researcher, has conducted multiple studies on the link between gratitude and well-being. His research confirms that gratitude effectively increases happiness and reduces depression. And there's also studies that say it reduces anxiety. So it has an incredibly positive impact on our psychological, mental health, as well as our physical. Furthermore, a study by a team called McCratty and Childrey in 2004 on gratitude and appreciation found that participants who felt grateful showed a marked reduction in the level of cortisol, stress hormone. They had better cardiac functioning and were more resilient to emotional setbacks and negative experiences. Significant studies over the years have established the fact that by practicing gratitude, we can handle stress better than other people. By merely acknowledging and appreciating the little things in life, we can actually rewire the brain to deal with the present circumstances with more awareness and broader perception. I found this kind of amazing. It's like the result is so broad.
I love that term, rewiring the brain.
Yes.
So like with a lot of these studies, you talk about the elasticity of the brain.
Right.
And how it does have the potential to grow and change.
Right.
Through practices, so.
And I think that's a relatively new concept. I think for a long time, like back in the day, they did think that once your brain was formed, but now they're really seeing that there's a lot you can do to change it. And this, improves your brain functioning. And certainly as we age, we want to have the best brains we can. So gratitude also enhances empathy and it reduces aggression. According to a 2012 study by the University of Kentucky, grateful people are more likely to behave in a pro-social manner, even when others behave less kindly. Study participants who ranked higher on gratitude scales were less likely to retaliate against others, even when given negative feedback. They experienced more sensitivity and empathy towards other people and a decreased desire to seek revenge. So again, it's a positive all-around thing. Grateful people sleep better. According to a 2011 study published in Applied Psychology, Health and Wellbeing, spend just 15 minutes jotting down a few grateful sentiments before bed, and you may sleep longer and better. So something to think about. Gratitude improves self-esteem. A 2014 study published in the Journal of Applied Sports Psychology found that gratitude increased athlete self-esteem, an essential component to optimal performance. Other studies have shown that gratitude reduces social comparisons. So rather than becoming resentful toward people who have more money or better jobs or whatever, a major factor in reduced self-esteem, Grateful people are able to appreciate other people's accomplishments. And gratitude increases mental strength. Research has shown gratitude not only reduces stress, but it may also play a major role in overcoming trauma. I found this shocking. A 2006 study published in Behavior Research and Therapy found that Vietnam War veterans with higher levels of gratitude experienced lower rates of PTSD. A 2003 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that gratitude was a major contributor to resilience following the terrorist attacks on September 11th. Recognizing all that you have to be thankful for, even during the worst times, fosters resilience. It can also have a positive impact on interpersonal relationships. Couple studies have also indicated that partners who express their thankfulness to each other often could sustain their relationships with mutual trust, loyalty, and had long-lasting, happy relationships. Furthermore, a study of couples found that individuals who took the time to express gratitude for their partner not only felt more positive towards the other person, but they also felt more comfortable expressing concerns about their relationship. So it kind of opens that conversation, that panel. And it has an effect on for careers and professional commitments. It improves and increases motivation. Managers who remember, I mean, most people, I'm sure most of you will be able to connect with this. Managers who remember to say thank you to people who work for them may find that those employees feel motivated to work harder. Researchers at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania randomly divided university fundraisers into two groups. One group made phone calls to solicit alumni donations in the same way they always had. We've all gotten those calls. The second group, assigned to work on a different day, received a pep talk from the director of annual giving, who told the fundraiser she was grateful for their efforts. During the following week, the university employees who heard her message of gratitude made 50% more fundraising calls than those who didn't. So it has, you know, an effect on the business too. Grateful workers are more efficient, more productive, and more responsible. Expressing gratitude in the workplace is a proactive action toward building interpersonal bonds and can trigger feelings of closeness and bonding. So that helps in the work environment too. Employees who practice expressing gratitude at work are more likely to volunteer for more assignments, willing to take an extra step to accomplish their tasks, and happily work as part of a team. Also, managers and supervisors who feel grateful and remember to convey that have a stronger group cohesiveness and better productivity. I can speak, I had a boss who I loved, who was wonderful, and he would call you in and tell you, you did a good job. I was really impressed with how you handled this. And, you know, he was the best boss I ever had. And I would have done anything for him. If something went bad, I would protect him. I would do anything because of who he was. It just really does. Yes, exactly. I'm still in touch with him. He's in his 90s now. So they recognize good work, give everyone their due importance to the group, and actively communicate with team members. And that's a good boss. Gratitude makes a leader compassionate, considerate, empathetic, and loved among others. And gratitude helps people feel more positive emotions, relish good experiences, improve their health, deal with adversity, and build strong relationships. It positively is correlated to more vitality, energy, and enthusiasm to work. So what are some of the things, and I'm going to ask Rita, put her on the spot, she may have some other ideas. What are some of the things you can do to improve gratitude or to incorporate it into your life? One of the things you can do is as simple as writing a thank you note. And Arita suggested this, and I'm actually going to write a thank you note to the boss I just mentioned. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to.
You're saving it up.
No, the paper's right there. It's just you can make yourself happy and nurture your relationship with another person by writing a thank you letter or email even, expressing your enjoyment and appreciation of that person's impact on your life. Send it, or better yet, deliver it and read it in person if possible. Make a habit of sending at least one gratitude letter a month. Once in a while, write one to yourself. We don't think about thanking ourselves, giving ourselves credit for things that we do, but we, you know, and I know I'm really hard on myself. It's even hard for me to think about that. but it is something that can improve your life, improve how you know, go day to day. Thank someone mentally. If you can't send them a letter, you don't have time to write, it may help just to think about somebody who's done something nice for you and mentally thank that person. So even if you can't, you know, or even if it's someone who's passed, someone that you, for whatever reason, cannot speak to, they're ill or whatever, it still is beneficial to you to do that. And, you know, one of the big things is keeping a gratitude journal. Make it a habit to write down or share with a loved one thoughts about the gifts you received each day. I have a real hard time with being dedicated and doing a gratitude journal. But one of the things that I'm thinking about trying to do this year, we'll see, I'm not very organized, is keeping a gratitude jar. And I've heard about people doing that, where when something good happens to you, hey, it's Christmas time and I got a parking spot right in front of Target. You know, it doesn't have to be some major thing. It can be, you know, I really need to get my hair done and my hairdresser can get me, you know, whatever it may be, whatever, you know, write it down. And then, you know, at least the end of the year, go through it and you'll see how much, you know, these are just little bits and pieces of your life and you'll remember back to, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. I got a parking spot right in front of Target, you know, and I didn't have to carry that package out. So
Mary, that's like all part of the whole rewiring I'm talking about, like those little practices every day. And then so it's like when throughout the day, you're just like training your mind to just, because it's so easy to kind of get to the negative mode, right? We get stresses in the day, all these things happen, conflict, and you can kind of like, it all builds up. And so to be able to take that step back and like reframe it in a sense, is, yeah, and then you start to become, as a habit, if you can do that, and you switch things around, then it's like you're kind of going into it with a different mindset and your body is charged. It's like charged with good stuff. And so you can attack, you know, you can approach anything and you're like just balanced in a sense, right?
well, it's true because what we focus on, as we go through our day, we focus on problems and we focus on negative things. And that's because we focus on the negative things because we need to fix them. So, you know, that's where our focus really is. So this gives us an opportunity to look at things from a different way and to try to focus on positive things. Anyway, that's one of my goals to try and do this year.
Does it matter if you're thankful or if you're lucky? Does it matter if you say, I'm so lucky that I have such good health, or thank God I have such good health, I'm so blessed to have good health, or I'm just lucky? Does that matter?
I don't necessarily think it matters per se in that, because you're still focused on the positive things. And it may be luck. You may attribute it to luck. Someone else may think that's God. You know, God is taking care of me. Giving me good health. So, you know, how we all look at things differently. You know, anyways. So, but that's one of the things you can do. I'm sorry, John, did you?
Oh, no, it's correct.
That counts as a question.
So, thanks for being concerned about it.
Yeah.
That's gratitude.
So one of the other things they think that they suggest, and I mean, these are all similar, and nothing is written in stone. You do what works for you or what you feel comfortable with. Count your blessings. Pick a time every week to sit down and write about your blessings, reflecting on what went right and what you're grateful for, you know, or what you were lucky. Sometimes it helps to pick a number such as like 3 things this week that happened that were great. That you will identify each week. As you write, be specific and think about the sensations you felt when something good happened to you. But that's also something that you can go back to. So when you're having a hard time, you can go back and look at it. You know, sometimes things seem overwhelming. You can go back and look at it and realize, okay, this was a tough time, and these are the good things that happened to me. There's always good in the midst of the bad. You know, we may not, but we're so attuned to the negative, we don't always see it, but there's always something good in that. The other thing that we can do, obviously, is we pray. You know, we talk to God. You know, God is there. It doesn't have to be a big thing. We don't always have to be begging, but we can, you know, thank God for the things that we believe have been given to us by Him, and you know, for help with whatever. Also, meditation helps. helps. Mindfulness meditation. It's amazing. They learn more and more about what that does psychologically and the help it does to the brain. And yes.
In terms of meditation, it's just a real struggle for most people, because you kind of want to have to keep your mind fully clear, shouldn't be thinking about everything. It's a really good time. Instead, to me, if your mind wanders, first of all, you don't punish yourself for this, okay? But I don't think it's new, so use that time to think about it. It'll be very calm. It'll be very clear.
Yeah, good point.
I would like to say, train our children to win a game. I think that we're not, that start showing the other people will lose. So it's instead of, did you win when they walked in the door? No, they didn't win 5. Well, they won, but the team that made them fight.
Right.
And that's very important.
I think that helps. Yeah, but that helps with giving them everything and understanding, you know, how would I feel if I got to this championship and I'm in second place? That's how.
Well, as a teacher, I think for me, for any game, the winners have to tell the loser, better luck next time, and the losers for the winner. And next time, yeah, it helps that much stuff. Yeah, something to that.
Yeah. You did a good job.
Congratulations, and better luck next time.
Well, there you go.
And so any child that are around would play games. Yesterday with my grandchildren, my foster grandchildren, was, you know, congratulations, and better luck next time. So that the winner is also offering something, you know, sort of positive to the.
As a USC fan, I've learned that a lot this year.
Better luck next time.
But that's true because it makes them then think they can be grateful for the fact that they won. You know, the other person, you know, didn't, but they can think about it.
And the kids that are feeling down, they should congratulate the people that.
Yeah. So anyways, meditation, by the by, if anybody's interested in going to meditation, I've been attending this class by Zoom, and it's free. It's from Torrance Memorial. So let me know if you're interested. I can hook you up or tell you who to call. So it's free, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 5. But I've learned a lot because I never did meditation, and so I've been doing it for a month. It's great.
When you practice yoga, at the end of the yoga routine.
Although people often focus on a phrase in meditation, such as peace, or, you know, I don't know that much about it. It's also possible to focus on what you're grateful for. So you can go through and focus on, you know, the warmth of the sun, a pleasant sound, you know, whatever, you know, the fact that I feel good today, you know, I'm done with coughing or whatever. And this information, also, one of the other sources that I used was Harvard Medical School put out an article about it. So I'm not just doing things. So, and they also think the Mindfulness Awareness Research Center of UCLA stated that gratitude does change the neural structures in the brain. Makes us feel happier and more content. Feeling grateful and appreciating others when they do something good for us triggers the good hormones and regulates effective functioning of the immune system. So in this time, obviously, we all want strong immune system, systems. So it even helps with that. It's crazy. Scientists have suggested that by activating the reward center of the brain, gratitude exchange alters the way we see the world and ourselves. So that goes back to the rewiring. Neuroscientist Dr. Alex Book in his book Upward Spiral mentioned that upward spiral, I can't speak this morning, mentioned that gratitude forces us to focus on the positive sides of life. When we give and receive thank you notes or emails, Our brain is automatically redirected to pay attention to what we have, producing intrinsic motivation and a strong awareness of the present. So it kind of puts you, mindfulness, you're looking at where am I right this very minute, the sounds around me and that sort of thing. And it does the same thing. Also at the neurochemical level, gratitude acts as a catalyst for neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, the ones that manage our emotions, anxiety, and immediate stress responses. So I mentioned before, this was an example of appreciating yourself. They suggest you stand in front of a mirror and speak out 5 good things to yourself. It can be about your past accomplishments, achievements, your present efforts, your talents, or your virtues, whatever. Just say the words out loud. Compliment yourself with words like beautiful, loyal, disciplined, kind, loving, etc. And notice if that makes you feel better. Repeat this as often as you want and record your experience. Because we really don't. I mean, most people do not give ourselves the credit we deserve. So the next thing, just the final thing, is to kind of talk about, gratitude is a way for people to appreciate what they have instead of always reaching for something new in the hopes it will make them happier, or thinking they can't feel satisfied until every physical and material need is met. We don't need the house on a strand. We don't need, the Tesla, whatever. Gratitude helps people refocus on what they have instead of what they want. And although it may feel contrived at first, this mental state grows stronger with use and practice. So that's just kind of a little bit about gratitude and all the reasons it makes sense for us, particularly at this time, to try to incorporate those practices into our life. And John, I will tell you, I've got, I'll send you some information if you're interested about dealing with grief, using gratitude to help you deal with it.
I need a 50-gallon gratitude jar.
Okay, I'll send you.
Maybe 100 gallons. So lucky to be part of this family, and it's been a remarkable experience how much people have shown their care. So, and it really helps.
That's great. That's great.
Do people of faith have more than people that are not?
I didn't encounter that, but I imagine that's true because I do think in at least some faith traditions, some as you, well, my goodness, some faith traditions, they're pretty negative about yourself. You're born a sinner and, beat yourself up. But there are faith traditions that are really focused on thanking God for what it is. So yes, I think that, but they may not focus as much on thanking others. They may not focus as much on,
You didn't read anything about this, huh? I mean, nothing that you read?
I didn't see any articles, but I didn't do
There
it.
was one study that I mentioned before about the Alzheimer's study, and they had a whole set of nuns who actually, upon their death, they donated their brains to research. And they found that in their brains that they all had the markers for Alzheimer's and dementia, but during their life, they had displayed none of the symptoms of it. And so what they said was it was because of the constant prayer. I mean, so there's like the always doing things for others, serving other people. And it was in community also, because they all were together all the time in community, and they all had jobs that they always had to do. So they had the routine, they had the communication, they had the service, and then the meditation and prayer time. Which was interesting because, when they looked at it, the markers were there and they showed them the symptoms, which is amazing. Just thinking about how we can.
And then in the assisted care facility my mom's in, I know that the people with roommates do better than the people who live alone. And so that sense of community and gratitude that is a way. I mean, there's many different vehicles for bringing yourself into community. But that sounds like gratitude sounds like a really good way to look at it. And if you look at God as within others, right?
Right.
And if that's one of your way of interacting with others is to be grateful for their presence, just to be grateful to be here and to have a discussion about it, and grateful for others who are willing to do it. So, you know, I mean, you see God in that, right? And at least I do, like, that's kind of where my head is at, it's like that. And I've been focusing a lot on dementia because my mom's decline, right? And I noticed, and of course Matt now works, and that's what he's doing, he's interviewing now to be the director of the dementia for one of the Sunrise places, and that's where he worked. And we talked about it a lot, and this gratitude thing, I'm gonna go right, that's like one of the things I'm gonna go talk to the director of the place about. I'm like, oh, it sounds like it would be, what you just told us, it's really fascinating, but that there's a physiological, and that to me is the most fascinating thing about all of this, is that
Yes.
when you said their brains were different, the physiology of the brain, that's fascinating.
That's what I found shocking too. I mean, I thought it might help with blood pressure or, you know, things like that. But when you're talking about things like that sort of a study and rewiring the brain, the way that you think, and that you're changing your whole, in a lot of ways, your whole life because of the way you look at the world, it's pretty phenomenal. And they also are doing studies, I think, with people who are mentally ill. I think that would be fascinating. And the benefit that it has, I mean, I don't know that it cures it, I'm not saying that, but they have found significant improvements in people who are diagnosed with different types of mental illness just from gratitude practices. So it's something, it really is like a panacea, and it's really something we should be teaching to our children and grandchildren, because, you know, they're gonna have a tough road with climate change and whatever else is going on, the way the world is going, you know, at least I foresee that it's going to be a tough time. They are going to need everything they can have, and it seems to be a really good way to help them learn to cope with something that's going to be out of their hands.
I think it's kind of interesting. CBS Sunday Morning today had a segment on new medication for Alzheimer's that they find the markers, and this medication apparently stops the markers, but they're not sure yet whether it actually stops the diagnosis of, or the symptoms of Alzheimer's. But it would seem, with what you were saying about the nuns, all the practices, including the fact that even Alzheimer's patients helping one another, even if they were setting a table or things some way contributing, would be really helpful in even the, assisted living facilities or whatever. I can definitely say this 99-year-old is the most upbeat, grateful. I know. She's wonderful. It is being contributed. But yes, I mean, she is amazing with it, because I'm certainly not on the same plane as she is. But she helps me every day to sort of keep on this keel. But
It's in your genes, so.
So she handed me none of her memory, so.
I have a question on this, I'm waiting, I'm sorry, there's a bit of research on a kind of the major values of society. Some of these things about being grateful. For example, if you live in a really highly individualistic society, where everyone thinks that they earn, they compete, and they earn it themselves, they may not be so gratified, or feeling gratitude towards. Something, it's all there, they did it.
I didn't see a study that specifically addressed that, but I've heard, there's certain countries, like I think like Denmark or something, wherever the happiness capital is, it's somewhere Scandinavia. And I think that's, they don't have, they've got socialized medicine, we're so scared of socialism. They've got socialized medicine, they've got, I think their colleges are paid for, and you know what I mean? They've got a lot of the things that we don't have. And yet they are happier than we are. And I do think to some degree, because of the competitiveness, you know, we really do focus on competition. And that's the whole thing, you know, with people that are wealthy. They're like, okay, I fought and I got here. And you're just, you know, making peanuts and, you know, you're doing a responsible job, but, you know, you're just a teacher. Why should you get paid in a reasonable way? You know, they don't really focus on the fact that, you know, these people are making incredible changes and are grateful when they see things like children. You know, I mean, they're raising children to be the next generation of this country, for better or for worse, and to be adjusted and that sort of thing. And I'm just mentioning teachers because I'm a teacher, but you know, whatever the thing is, lawyers, they, you know, we'll talk about it. They get paid for it, general.
So Mary, we can talk about striking a balance between the need to correct your own flaws. If you're not self-critical to some degree, and focus on how you screwed up, what you do wrong. I mean, if you're fat, then unhappy, you know, you're just gonna exist as you have existed and not self-improve. Probably not. What do you think?
Yeah, well,
So how do you strike the right balance?
here's the thing. I think if that's a question, in all honesty, I think that's probably not gonna be an issue for you. I don't think, you know, for people who are really self-critical, I don't think it's an issue of overdoing gratitude and towards yourself and towards others. I think it's more an issue of not doing enough, because I do think people who are really self-critical tend to beat themselves up, and it doesn't have a positive impact, really. I mean, you feel like that's the way to motivate yourself, because I'm like that. It's hard for me to even read stuff like be grateful to yourself. Like, what do you mean, you know? But I don't think there's an issue of it going over, because I think giving yourself a break, it's a slow process, but I think that would eventually or will make a difference, because you're not going to be so grateful to yourself that you're going to like become some, you know, handsy or, you know, person who's not, you know, it's not going to change your personality in that regard. If you're kind of a fighter for things, you're probably not still going to be a fighter, but you may be more willing to accept yourself for who you are and for whatever your feelings may be.
But you may put more focus on self-analysis.
Well, yeah, but and also on not beating yourself up. Don't waste your time mentally focusing on, you know, I failed. I didn't do that right. I should have done this. I should have done that. Why didn't I say that? You know, you're not going to focus. If you're focusing on gratitude, it will take away from your time focusing on those negative voices that we hear. John.
Joan Richards joined us yesterday, decorating the inside of the church. And I don't know if you're aware of her situation, anybody. She is suffering from dementia. And it was interesting. People worked to include her. She really needed a lot of guidance, and they didn't say, oh, I go work someplace else. They really embraced her to make her feel like she was in that group, and I hope it all made her feel better.
That's great. That's great.
But I was a little, I had the name right, Joan Richards.
Yeah.
She's losing her memory. And, so anyway, reach out to her if you weren't aware of that.
It's been coming on for quite some time.
Yeah.
Let me just finish up with a couple of things because we want to do something else. You know, one other thing, I think to some degree this is redundant, but gratitude releases toxic emotions. So that's the thing when we're beating ourselves up. The limbic system is part of the brain that's responsible for all emotional experiences. It consists of the thalamus, hypothalamus, amygdala, hippocampus, and cingulate gyrus. I think that's also cortex. Studies have shown that the hippocampus and amygdala, the two main sites regulating emotions, memory, and bodily functions, get activated with feelings of gratitude. So it may also help, I think, with Alzheimer type diseases, because it also activates memory. Not going to be a cure. Consistent evidence has established that what we call emotions or feelings are actually neural activators activations in the neocortical regions of the brain. A study conducted on individuals seeking mental health guidance revealed that participants of the group who wrote letters of gratitude besides their regular counseling sessions felt better and they recovered soon. So again, it's just more and more evidence, and I think this is probably just the tip of the iceberg. And as we go along, we're probably going to find out more. But overall, gratitude helps people feel more positive emotions, relish good experiences, appreciate good experiences, improve their health, deal with adversity, and build stronger relationships. It's positively correlated to more vitality, energy, and enthusiasm to work harder. So in that sense, it sort of works along with, motivating. So anyways, that's kind of my thing. But what I really wanted to do more than anything was I wanted to have a session where we could talk about things in our lives. Arita and I have talked about this before. I personally went to a couple of funerals when I used to do the sound at the church. One I just went to, but of people, and I was shocked at who these people were. These are people, one of them was Bob, who used to come all the time and do all the stuff, and I'm blanking on his last name, married to Martha. Bob. Yeah, anyways, but he was wonderful. I mean, his story was amazing. It was like, I've been going to church with this guy for almost 10 years. I don't even know him. And so I wanted to take an opportunity for us to talk about gratitude. I got some questions to go through about ourselves and how we feel about it. There's nothing off the table here. There's nothing that's critical. You may not agree, somebody may see something as the hand of God, somebody else may think that's really crazy, whatever, but there's no judgment here. And, we accept things, the way people see them, because it's their reality, it's not ours, their experiences. So anyways, what I'd like to do, if we could take just a minute, maybe get in a circle or kind of get in a circle.
There's nobody in